33 years ago, a first website went online, and it was the beginning of the first achievement of the last century, the World Wide Web. Invented by the computer scientist Tim Berners Lee, the man credited with inventing the World Wide Web has been honored with 2016 Turing Award. He was born in London on 8 June 1955. Both of his parents were mathematicians, and time inherited their interest, but he selected physics for his university studies. In 1976, he completed his bachelor's degree from Queen's College, Oxford. After completing bachelor's degree, he worked for a telecommunication company, and he also developed a typesetting software for printers. In 1989, while working at CERN, that is basically the European Organization for Nuclear Research, as a way to allow scientists across the world to share information, and it is the place where Tim had the idea of one information management system, accessible to all scientists, because at CERN, scientists from different universities bring their own computer systems and make the heterogeneous environment and collaboration become difficult.
Well, it was in 1989. And the internet already existed in that you could send email, but there was no websites, so there was no HTTP, there was no HTML, there was no space or things you could click through. And it began because I was frustrated it didn't exist. I imagined a system where you could just click from one to the other, and that was so compelling that I decided that I wanted to build it. I'm proud of the spirit of collaboration, which was the last 25 years. You know, it wasn't just me, I had the idea, right? I invented it.
Tim wrote a proposal for this information system for the laboratory. At the end of this year, he had developed the fundamental protocols and algorithms that allow the web to scale and produce the first web server and browser, the World Wide Web. He also introduced a universal resource naming scheme based on URI and URLs, that are the HTTP protocols for sending and receiving information across the internet in a scalable and decentralized way.
I sort of rode the wave of discovering computers as something which you could actually have in your house and you could use to solve all kinds of problems. And I've worked at various companies and I've worked as a consultant, and so I'd come across things like communication protocols. I'd come across things like when you program a printer, how to make graphics and screen, and so I'd come across sort of text processing, and so basically life as a sort of jobbing contract programmer had taken me, in fact, through all kinds of things. I ended up with all kinds of bits of knowledge which in the end would be useful. And so then when I get to CERN, it's just frustrating. One of the reasons why you should get your kids to teach your kids to code is that then they can look at a computer and realize that it can be different, realize that they can program it to be different. And so I'm at CERN, and all these systems that are incompatible. And if I'm sitting on one computer system, I can't get information on the other one. I have to log on into it separately and have to learn a completely different program to get at the help system or the documentation system. And at CERN, because CERN's a great place to invent the web, because lots and lots of different documentation systems came from all over the world. So there's a lot of frustration, personal frustration for me, and an idea also that I wanted to have really good collaborative tools for the people I was working with. And so when you realize, you know, it could be simpler, and the web is really basically a very, very simple idea, very simple.
He also invented HTML, hypertext markup language, which provide a standard way for documents to be created and displayed in a device-independent manner and linked to other documents, and he did so in an open source fashion that catalyzed the web's further development. Berners Lee is the founder and director of the World Wide Web Consortium, which set technical standards for web development, as well as a World Wide Web Foundation, which aims to establish the open web as a public good and a basic right. He also holds a professorship at Oxford University. In short, the web is what it is today because of Sir Tim's brilliant design, based on his synthesis of several key ideas and his technical leadership. The ECM recognizes Sir Tim with the Turing Award for this enduring contribution to the computer community.